Hello again. Here we are with our reading of A Course of Love for today. A Course of Love brought to us through Marie Perron, written by the same author as A Course in Miracles that was brought to us through Helen Schumann. And this is lesson number 14. We begin with the last paragraph from lesson number 13. Love is the name you give to much you fear. You think that it is possible to choose it as a means to buy your safety and security. You thus have defined love as a reaction to fear. This is why you cannot understand love as fear's opposite. This is true enough, but because you have not properly recognized fear as nothing, you have not properly recognized love as everything. It is because of the attributes you have given fear that love has been given attributes. Only separate things have attributes and qualities that seem to complement or oppose. Love has no attributes, which is why it cannot be taught. If love cannot be taught but only recognized, how is this recognition made possible? Through love's effects, for cause and effect are one. Creation is love's effect, as you are. To believe that you are able to act in love in one instance and act in anger in another, and that both actions originate from the same place, is an error of enormous proportions. You again label love as sometimes component and think that to act in love more frequently is an achievement. You label acting from love good and acting out of anger bad. You feel you are capable of loving acts of heroic proportions and fearful acts of horrific consequence. Acts of bravery and acts of cowardice. Acts of passion you call love, and acts of passion you call violence. You feel unable to control the most extreme of these actions that arise from these extremes of feelings. Most extremes of these actions that arise from the extremes of feelings. Both ends of feelings are considered dangerous, and a middle ground is sought. It is said that one can love too much and too little, but never enough. Love is not something you do, it's what you are. To continue to identify love incorrectly is to continue to enable the identity to identify yourself. To continue to identify love incorrectly is to continue to be unable to identify yourself. To continue to identify love incorrectly is to continue to live in hell. As much as highs and lows of intense feelings are sought by some to be avoided, it is the in-between of passionless living that hell is solidified and becomes quite real. You can label joy heaven and pain hell. Oops, I'm so sorry. Gotta hold this differently. You can label joy heaven and pain hell and seek the middle ground for your reality, thinking that you are more than these two choices. A life of little joy and little pain is seen as a successful life, for a life of joy is seen as nothing more than a daydream, and a life of pain as nightmare. Into this confusion of love's reality, you add the contents of your history, the learned facts and the assumed theories of your existence. Although your purpose here remains obscure, you identify some things you call progress and other things you call evolution, and you hope you have some minuscule role to play in advancing the status of humankind. This is the most you have any hope of doing, and few of you believe you will succeed. Others refuse to think of life in terms of purpose, and thereby condemn themselves to a purposeless lives. Convinced one person among billions makes no difference and is often of no consequence. Still others put on blinders to the world and seek only to make their corner of it more safe and secure. Some shift from one option to next, giving up on one and hoping the other will bring them some peace. To think that these are the only options available to creatures of a loving God is insane. You believe that to think the opposite is true insanity. Given even your limited view of who you are, could this really be true? The insanity of your thought process and the world you perceive must be made known to you before you are willing to give it up. You do know this, and yet you constantly forget. The forgetting is the work of your ego. Your true self does not want to forget and cannot for the tiniest fraction of a second. It is precisely the inability of your true self to forget that gives you hope of learning to recognize love, and with that recognition of ending the insanity you now perceive. We will return tomorrow for the next reading of A Course in Love, reading number 15. And you may accompany this reading with this book, Peace, Discovering Life's Harmony Through Relationships. It's a book that you may journal your inner journey experience as we go in A Course of Love. Breathe in deeply and release all and empty, and have a blessed day.